The surface of Varos 4 looked as if a forgotten war had chewed through it and moved on. Splintered towers jutted from the cold dust, their metal skeletons groaning whenever the weak wind brushed against them. Captain Red Hale stepped over a fallen support beam and scanned the fractured hangar ahead, his visor feeding him faint life sign traces. "Movement is small," he said. "Could be a malfunctioning drone. Could be a survivor. We check it out either way." His squad spread through the ruin. Boots crunched over brittle wiring. The whole moon echoed with quiet unease, as though something unseen tracked them from the shadows. Corporal Ives lifted her rifle. "Sir, that signal, it's tiny. Not machine tiny. More like, I don't know. A child?" Red didn't slow. "Then we move faster." They reached a collapsed bulkhead. A sharp whine pulsed beneath the rubble, followed by a shaking breath, a frightened one. Red knelt, shifted a slab aside, and peered into the gap. A small alien child, no bigger than a human 5-year-old, crouched between crushed metal plates. Its skin shimmered faint blue under the dim light, as if bioluminescent veins flickered just beneath the surface. Big silver eyes stared back, wide and terrified. "It's okay," Red murmured, lowering his weapon. "We'll get you out." The child flinched, curled in tighter, and whispered a trembling phrase in a language he didn't recognize. Red understood anyway. It was begging not to be left alone. Before he could reassure it, the air shifted. A cold tremor rippled across the hangar floor. Red rose instantly. "Squad, defensive positions. Now." 8 shadows peeled from the rafters above, dropping in perfect silence. Their silhouettes hit the ground as one, tall, armored, and bristling with curved blades that gleamed like wet obsidian. Their helmets bore the signature fractures of the blade shade marauders. Ives inhaled sharply. "Sir?" "Fall back," Red ordered, voice calm but sharp as a knife. "Take the child and evacuate." "But—" "That's an order." The assassins fanned out, 8 against 1. Their claws clicked in anticipation. They had come for the child, and everyone knew it. Red's squad hesitated only a second before obeying. 2 soldiers hauled debris aside and reached for the small alien. But the moment their hands stretched forward, one blade shade lunged, forcing Red to intercept. Red blocked the first strike with his forearm. The blade hissed, slicing through armor and skin like paper. Pain flared hot, but he shoved forward, knocking the assassin off balance. "Move!" he barked at his squad. They pulled the child free and retreated toward the transport corridor. Red pivoted to face the assassins, alone. 8 sets of eyes glimmered from behind fractured visors. They circled him with ritualistic precision. "Human," one growled through a modulated speaker. "You were not part of the contract." Red wiped blood from his arm and drew his combat knife. It looked pitifully small against their arsenal. "Too bad," he said. "I'm already involved." The first assassin charged. Red ducked low, surged upward, and drove his knife beneath its chin plate. The alien collapsed in a metallic heap. A second blade sliced across Red's ribs. Warm blood soaked his side, but he twisted, caught the attacker's wrist, and snapped it with a harsh crunch before slamming the being into the floor. The remaining 6 closed in. Red's breath grew ragged. His pulses echoed inside his skull, but he pushed forward, refusing to yield an inch. Every movement cost him more strength. Blades rang off metal, ripped cloth, and bit deep into flesh. Yet he held the line. Another assassin darted behind him. Red spun too slow. A blade pierced his lower back. His knees dipped. The world blurred at the edges. Then he heard it, the faint, terrified cry of the child behind him. His squad hadn't cleared the hall yet. He couldn't fall. Red snarled, turned into the pain, and forced himself upright. He grabbed the assassin's arm and rammed his knife through its throat. Hot fluid splashed across his hand. 3 assassins left. One slashed at his leg. Another went for his neck. He barely managed to block the next strike with his forearm, the blade carving deep into muscle. Agony screamed through him, but he pushed back, using raw strength to overpower the thin, wiry alien and slam it into a wall hard enough to dent the plating. "Captain?" I've shouted from the corridor entrance. "We've almost got the child secured, just hold on." "I'm not going anywhere," Rhett said through clenched teeth. The fourth assassin attacked. Rhett ducked, tackled it, and plunged his knife into its chest. It writhed once and fell still. Two left. Sweat dripped into his eyes. His limbs shook. Breathing felt like inhaling needles. But he stood between the assassins and the corridor, refusing to let them through. One lifted both blades and charged with a shrill war cry. Rhett blocked the first strike but failed to stop the second. The weapon carved across his shoulder. His vision swam. Darkness crept around the edges. He bit it back. The assassin roared, frustrated that the human still stood. It lunged again. Rhett stepped inside the swing and drove his head into the alien's visor. The impact cracked the mask and dazed the assassin long enough for Rhett to stab it twice. It collapsed. Only one remained, a taller, more heavily armored blaze shade with curved twin blades. It tilted its head, studying him. "You bleed like prey," it hissed. "But you do not fall like it." Rhett lifted his knife, the blade trembling in his weakened grip. "Try me." The assassin rushed forward. Rhett moved purely on instinct. He dodged the first swipe, barely avoided the second, and caught the assassin's wrist. But his muscles failed him, and the alien broke free, slashing across his abdomen. The cut drove him to one knee. Blood pooled beneath him, steaming in the cold air. He forced his eyes to stay open. Forced his lungs to pull in another breath. Forced his legs to hold even as they trembled. If he fell, the child died. That simple truth anchored him. The assassin lifted its blades for the finishing strike. Rhett pushed himself upright with raw will. At the last second, he drove forward, slamming his shoulder into the assassin's chest and knocking it off balance. Its blades whistled over his head. He twisted, ripped the knife across the alien's throat, and dropped it to the ruined floor. Silence swallowed the hanger. He staggered, blinking through the haze. His squad ran toward him, voices echoing from far away. "Captain? Stay with us!" Rhett tried to answer, but his knees buckled. He hit the ground hard. The cold metal pressed against his cheek. He saw the child pushing past the soldiers, reaching for him with trembling hands. "You're safe," Rhett whispered, barely audible. Then the world faded as medics rushed in, shouting orders he no longer heard. He had held the line. The child lived. Darkness claimed him. Rhett woke to the hum of medical drones and the muted glow of Helix Prime's recovery ward. The air smelled faintly of antiseptic and ionized steel. A soft restraint band rested across his chest, not to hold him down, but to keep him from sitting up too fast. His lungs burned every time he drew breath. His ribs throbbed. His back felt like someone had carved fire into it. But he was alive. A gentle voice spoke beside him. "Easy, Captain. You're stable, but your vitals are still fragile." Dr. Alira Saran, a Lethari physician with translucent skin and a calming presence, adjusted the monitors above his bed. Her 4 delicate fingers danced across holographic panels. "How long?" Rhett rasped. 37 hours. You lost more than half your blood volume before your squad pulled you out." She paused, her luminous eyes softening. "We almost lost you, twice." Rhett shut his eyes for a moment, trying to steady the fog in his head. "The child. Where is—" A small shape moved in the corner of his vision. The alien child sat on a cushioned stool beside the bed, wrapped in a thermal blanket that looked far too big for its tiny frame. Its silver eyes tracked him with worry, shimmering faintly in the dim light. Rhett tried to speak again, but the child beat him to it. It leaned forward and placed a small hand near his, not quite touching, as if waiting for permission. Rhett shifted his fingers and brushed the child's hand gently. "You made it," he whispered. The child's eyes grew brighter, relief flooding across its face. Dr. Saran watched the exchange, her expression unguarded. "It refused to stay in the pediatric chamber. Every time we moved it, It panicked until we returned it here. We've never seen such attachment form so fast. Red swallowed hard. It's scared. It's more than that, Dr. Saran murmured. It feels safe with you. Before Red could reply, the doors slid open with a soft hiss. Two figures entered, Admiral Juno Marks, Helix Prime's commanding officer, followed by an imposing Dravix warrior clad in ceremonial armor. The Dravix's scales caught the overhead lights, reflecting a mosaic of copper and green. The Admiral stepped forward. Captain Hale. Welcome back. Red tried to sit up, winced, and abandoned the attempt. Ma'am. You caused quite a storm, she said, arms crossed behind her back. Footage from Varos 4 spread across half the spiral. 8 Blaze Shade assassins, and you survived long enough to kill 5. That's unprecedented. The Dravix warrior bowed his head. To face even one Blade Shade is considered suicidal. What you accomplished borders on legend. Red shifted uncomfortably. I didn't do it for a legend. You did it for a child, the Admiral said quietly. And the galaxy noticed. Dr. Saran flicked her gaze upward. More ambassadors arrived this morning. They want to meet the human who intervened in a cross-species assassination attempt. Red exhaled. Great. Diplomacy while half dead. It gets more complicated, the Admiral added. The Council wants you present at a hearing. They believe your actions may have political implications. Red gave her a flat look. I shielded a scared kid. That's not politics. The Dravix rumbled, the sound deep and resonant. The Council sees everything as politics. But many worlds saw something else, a human enduring beyond reason to protect life. Before Red could respond, alarms chimed on the Admiral's wrist console. She checked the display, her jaw tightening. Bad news? Dr. Saran asked. Crackstall has broadcast a message, the Admiral said. He calls your intervention an act of interference. Claims you stole something that belongs to him. Red stiffened. He wants the child. He wants power, the Dravix corrected. The child's species carries ancestral resonance memory. If raised or controlled by someone like Krax, their abilities could reshape fleets. Red looked at the small alien, who clung to the blanket as if trying to hide. So that's why he sent killers. The Admiral nodded. And why he won't stop. Footsteps echoed from the hall. More visitors approached, alien ambassadors from 3 separate species. They gathered outside the glass partition, watching Red with an intensity that made him uneasy. Dr. Saran dimmed the lights to protect his eyes. You need rest. This attention isn't healthy for your recovery. The child made a soft sound, almost a chirp. Red glanced at it. You tired? He asked gently. The child shook its head and reached for him again. Its faint bioluminescence pulsed in a soothing rhythm, as if syncing with his heartbeat. The Admiral lowered her voice. Captain, this bond, it could become central to the Council's decision. They'll question everything, your motives, humanity's intentions, the child's future. I don't care about politics, Red said. I care that assassins tried to kill a kid. And that, she replied, is exactly why everyone is watching. She stepped back. Rest for now. Tomorrow we bring you before the Council. When they left, the room dimmed to a quiet hum. Red stared at the ceiling. His arm throbbed beneath the bandages. His back burned where blades had carved their marks. Yet he felt more alert now than he had since waking. The child climbed onto the edge of his bed without making a sound. It sat near his shoulder, careful not to disturb the medical lines, and tucked the blanket around itself. Red offered a small, tired smile. You sticking with me, huh? The child nodded. Then it pressed its forehead gently against his upper arm, an instinctive gesture of trust. For a moment, everything felt still. Dr. Saran returned briefly to check monitors. She paused at the sight of the child nestled close to him. In all my years, she whispered, I've never seen anything like this. Do humans often form bonds under trauma? Red shrugged slightly. We tend to hold on when it matters. The doctor studied him. You're in no condition to walk, let alone face the council. He closed his eyes. Doesn't change what's coming. And what is coming, Captain? Red breathed slowly, the pain lacing each inhale with a sharp edge. Cracks won't stop until he gets this child. And I won't stop until he never gets the chance. The doctor gave a slow nod. Then rest. You'll need strength. She left him in quiet darkness. Only the soft pulse of monitors and the child's steady breathing broke the silence. Red drifted between waking and sleep, aware of the faint warmth at his side. He had fought on too many worlds, but nothing felt quite like what Varos 4 ignited inside him, an instinct older than training, older than conflict. Protect the innocent. No matter the species. No matter the cost. The galaxy might doubt humanity's place, but Red didn't care about their debates. He cared about the tiny hand resting near his own. He cared about the life he nearly died protecting. And when morning came, the entire galaxy would see that humanity does not abandon those who seek its shield. Not ever. The transport lift hummed as it climbed toward the central chamber of the Joint Species Council. Red gripped the rail with his good hand, the other still bound in layered medical wrap. Every step from the medical ward to the lift had been a battle of will. His body protested with sharp reminders that it was nowhere near healed. The alien child walked close beside him, fingers gripping his sleeve with quiet determination. Its silver eyes darted nervously at passing delegates, drifting Lethari envoys, towering Dravix guards, soft-voiced Kos high scribes. None tried to harm the child, but all watched it with a mix of curiosity and fear. When the lift doors opened, the council chamber's scale hit Rhett like a tidal wave. The circular hall stretched upward like a cathedral carved from obsidian and light. Tiered balconies overflowed with ambassadors, military leaders, and political observers. Every one of them fell silent when Rhett entered. 1,000 eyes fixed on him, the human who had stood alone against 8 elite assassins. Admiral Marks guided him forward. Stay steady, Captain. They want answers, not apologies. Good, Rhett said. I'm fresh out of apologies. The child tightened its hold on his sleeve. A deep drum sounded, reverberating through the hall. The central dais lit up, revealing the council chair, a grave-looking Klek Prime with a crystalline crest that pulsed faintly. Captain Rhett Hale, the chair said, voice amplified. You are summoned to address the events on Varos 4. Approach. Rhett stepped onto the dais, ignoring the stabbing pain in his ribs. He positioned himself between the child and the audience, an instinctive barrier. The chair continued. Your recorded actions have sparked diplomatic upheaval. You intervened in an interspecies conflict without mandate. You protected a child belonging to a lineage of strategic importance. You engaged in lethal combat with agents under a recognized warlord. One ambassador leaned forward. Explain your motives, human. Rhett's jaw tightened. My motive? A child was in danger. Murmurs rippled across the chamber. A sleek-bodied HFY diplomat scoffed. Emotional impulse. Humans are known for such recklessness. Rhett didn't look away. I call it being decent. A Dravix general rose from his seat. Decent? You fought like a cornered predator against assassins that have ended the lives of seasoned warriors. You survived wounds that should have killed you. Why? The question carried no accusation, only genuine curiosity. Rhett answered simply. Because the kid didn't have anyone else. The child peeked out from behind him, then quickly hid again. The council chair tapped its crystalline crest. The young one may speak if willing. Its testimony holds weight. Rhett knelt slightly. It's up to you, he whispered. The child hesitated, then stepped forward. Its glowing fingertips brushed the dais. A soft field shimmered as the species' natural resonance activated. Images flickered in the air, grainy but vivid. The council gasped as memories filled the chamber. Krax's fleet assembling in secret. Bladeshade assassins kneeling before him. The order to eliminate the child. The child's trembling form appeared in the projection, hiding under metal scraps on Varos 4. Then, the moment Rhett stood between it and death. 8 shadows. Screaming blades. Rhett's body taking strike after strike. His blood hitting the floor. His refusal to fall. The projection faded. Silence followed, heavy and electric. Admiral Marks spoke first. This confirms what our intelligence suspected. The child carries genetic resonance memory. It witnessed the Bladeshade warlord's preparations. It knows what Crack's plans. A VHYR delegate hissed. That makes it a strategic asset. Rhett stepped forward, voice hard. It's not an asset. It's a child. The room erupted in competing arguments. Human sentimentalism. We cannot ignore the tactical value. Cracks will come for it. Protecting it risks open war. Rhett raised his voice. He already tried to start one. The chair called for order. Ambassadors, restraint. The comm systems crackled. A security officer rushed into the chamber. Council! We have incoming alerts from Helix Prime security grids. Multiple intrusions detected. Bladeshade signatures. Rhett's stomach dropped. They came here? No, the officer said. They infiltrated the medical sector. Rhett grabbed the child's hand. They're trying again. The chair's crest flared. Security units are deploying, but we require your presence here, Captain. Rhett turned toward the chamber doors. With respect, I'm not leaving the kid defenseless. You are not authorized. It wasn't a request. Admiral Marks caught up as he moved. You can barely walk. I don't need to walk fast, he said. I just need to reach them first. The Dravix general roared. I go with him. Several Dravix guards thundered after them. Letari medics followed, preparing emergency kits. They entered the lift, which shot downward as sirens blared through the station. When the doors opened onto the medical level, chaos waited. Hallway panels sparked. Smoke drifted from ruptured conduits. Several Bladeshade assassins moved through the corridor with lethal precision, cutting through defensive drones. Dr. Saran crouched behind a toppled medcart, shielding 2 wounded staff. She spotted Rhett and shouted, They're heading for the pediatric wing! Rhett didn't slow. Dravix guards roared and charged beside him, their heavy steps shaking the floor. A Bladeshade turned the corner and lunged. Rhett shoved the child behind a door frame and raised his forearm to block the incoming blade. Pain shot through him as metal cut into bandaged muscle, but he held long enough for a Dravix warrior to tackle the assassin. 2 more assassins appeared. Rhett moved before they could reach the child. His ribs screamed in protest. His back burned. His legs felt locked in iron. But he advanced anyway. He grabbed the nearest Bladeshade's wrist, twisted the blade free, and used its own momentum to drive it into the other attacker's armor plate. Sparks burst across the hall. A Dravix guard finished the first one with a crushing blow. Rhett staggered, grabbing the wall for support. Blood seeped through his bandages. Dr. Saran ran to him. You're reopening half your wounds. Not the first time today, he muttered. The last surviving assassin fled down the corridor toward the emergency shuttle bays. Admiral Marks appeared behind them. If he escapes, he'll signal their fleet. Cracks will know the child is alive in here. Rhett steadied himself. Then we cut off that signal. The Dravix general pointed to the far exit. The assassin is fast. We need a ship. Admiral Marks nodded. Helix Prime isn't secure. We must move the child to the Citadel. The Council will have to mobilize protection. Rhett looked at the trembling alien child clutching his coat. Its silver eyes reflected fear, but also trust. We move now, he said. Dr. Saran frowned. Captain, you're in dangerous condition. So is the kid, he replied. And it can't walk alone. The Admiral touched her earpiece. Prepare a transport. Cracks will come hard once he realizes we survived. Rhett lifted the child into his arms. Despite the pain, he held the small creature firmly. This wasn't strategy. This wasn't politics. This was survival. And Rhett wasn't letting the galaxy take the child. Not today, not ever. With alarms blaring and station lights flashing red, they headed toward the docks, unaware that Krax's forces were already closing in. War had begun. The medbay lights dimmed to a soft amber as Captain Ralvik stepped forward, his mandibles drawn tight in a gesture every species recognized as solemn respect. "Sergeant Hale," he began. "Before we proceed, I need you to understand that what we ask may put you in greater danger than you've ever faced." Hale pushed himself upright. Pain flared through his side where a blade had nearly cut him in half, but he didn't show it. "Danger's not new to me," he said. "Just tell me what the next move is." The others exchanged glances, Ralvik, Minister Vale, the 4 Galactic Guard representatives, and the silent form of the alien child perched on the diagnostic table, legs swinging nervously. Her wide black eyes tracked Hale's every breath. Lyri. The child he had thrown his body over when 8 blades came down. The child whose existence could ignite a war. Vale stepped closer, her crystal silver coat rustling like distant wind chimes. "We've confirmed it. Lyri possesses the genetic markers of an heir. A direct descendant of the Vora continuum. If the Dravari learn she survived, they will rip apart every system to find her." Hale let out a slow breath. "Then we make sure they don't." Lyri slid off the table and approached him, her small hand brushing his wrist. Her voice was soft, almost melodic. "You shouldn't fight anymore. You're hurt." He forced a smile. "I've been worse." Ralvik lifted a hollow slate, and the table's surface rippled into a projection of the star map. Red clusters marked Dravari-controlled space. "Too many. Earth is neutral. Your people refuse to join the Council or the war. That's why she must go there." Hale blinked. "You want to hide an alien heir, on Earth." "That's exactly why it will work," Vale said. "The Dravari expect us to shield her on Council worlds. They'd never imagined we'd trust humans with something so important." Hale gave a short laugh. "You're assuming Earth will cooperate." Ralvik tilted his head. "Will you cooperate?" Hale glanced at Lyri again. She looked smaller now under the immense weight of the galaxy's fear. But she wasn't trembling. She watched him with fierce, quiet trust, as if she believed humans were carved from the same steel she saw in him. "We don't leave kids behind," Hale said finally. "Not on Earth. Not anywhere." Vale nodded. "Then there's one final task before we depart." She turned to Lyri. "You must tell us exactly what you saw the night your family was attacked." Lyri's pupils expanded. The lights flickered in response, the medbay sensors reacting to her stress. Hale stepped off the bed and crouched down beside her. "You're safe," he said. "Take your time." She drew a shaky breath. "I woke up because my mother screamed." Her voice wavered but steadied. 8 Dravari soldiers broke into our quarters. They wanted the Continuum seal. My mother hid me in a vent and told me to run if she didn't come back. Hale clenched his jaw. Vale lowered her head. Ralvik folded his arms and stared at the floor. Lyri continued. They found her. She fought them. I felt. She pressed a hand to her chest. Her fear. Then her nothingness. Hale placed a hand over hers. I'm sorry. Her eyes lifted to his. You came when no one else did. He didn't know how to answer that. He just stayed beside her until her breathing eased. Ralvik eventually cleared his throat. The shuttle Aegis is prepared. We leave within the hour. Hale, can you walk? I can walk, he said, straightening. I can run if I have to. Vale extended a small metallic token, smooth, obsidian, etched with pulsing lines. This is the Continuum seal. Lyri is its rightful bearer. The Dravari will destroy entire worlds to obtain it. And you're giving it to me? Hale asked. Only a human is unpredictable enough to keep it out of their hands. Hale curled his fingers around the token. It throbbed faintly, as if recognizing him. Or rejecting him. Hard to tell. The group moved through the station corridors, their footsteps echoing in unison. Hale walked with a stiffness that betrayed the wounds beneath his clothing. Lyri walked beside him, gripping his jacket with one small hand. At the docking bay, the Aegis shimmered under white lights, sleek, angular, built for stealth. Ralvek and Vale stopped at the ramp. You won't be alone, Vale said. A council agent will accompany you. How reassuring, Hale muttered. Ralvek shook his head. You misunderstand. This time, the agent is not there to monitor you. They are there to protect the air, and you. A tall figure stepped out of the shadows. Armored. Human. Hale, she said. Hale froze. Captain Arden? His former commanding officer. The one who had vanished after Earth's last border conflict. You're with the Council now? Hale asked. She shrugged. Earth doesn't want to admit it, but we've been cooperating for years. Hale exhaled. So this is bigger than I thought. It is, Arden said. And it's about to get worse. Sirens blared. The docking bay lights snapped red. All personnel, an automated voice boomed. Unauthorized jump signatures detected. Gavari ships entering local space. Ralvek cursed sharply in his native tongue. They found us. Arden drew her rifle. We have 90 seconds before they breach the outer hull. Hale scooped Lyri into his arms. Go! Start the engines! Arden sprinted up the ramp. Hale followed, pain burning hot in his ribs. Vale slammed the console, sealing the bay doors behind them. Inside the Aegis, alarms flashed across the control panels. Strap in! Arden barked. Hale secured Lyri in the crash chair beside him just as the ship lurched violently. Outside, the Dravari ships rained fire across the station. We can't outrun them in normal space, Arden shouted over the shaking hull. We need to jump. Then jump! Hale yelled. We don't have coordinates. Hale grabbed the seal from his pocket. As he did, it pulsed, brighter, faster. Lyri stared at it. It's choosing. A glowing thread extended from the seal into the NAV panel, rewriting the star map in real time. Arden stared. Where is it sending us? Lyri whispered. To the only place left where they can't follow. Hale swallowed. Earth. Arden slammed her hand on the console. Jumping! The ship tore into the void, stars stretching into white lines before collapsing into darkness. For a moment, everything was silent. Lyri reached for Hale's hand. Will your home protect me? Hale looked at her, a small child carrying the weight of a fallen dynasty, and felt something ancient stir within him. Kid, he said quietly, humans don't just protect people. He squeezed her hand. We move the universe to keep them safe. The Aegis shuddered as it sped toward a blue planet waiting on the other side of the dark. A planet about to learn that it now sheltered the most hunted child in the galaxy.